What's going on, Bama fans? What's going on? It's your boy Mizzy. Man, I'm sorry I ain't get my prediction. Well, not my prediction. See, look, I'm resting. But I ain't get my reaction video out this past week from the past college football games from us playing Tennessee. Well, beating Tennessee, beating the doors off of Tennessee. Georgia beating Ole Miss. Man, all the great games this past week. I really had wanted to get my, I was going, this Friday, right now, Friday night, I was going to get my video out and going to do my reaction, but man, it's Friday. I'm going to just chalk it up because like I said, that video, I know it ain't going to get that much attention. So I'm just going to jump into our prediction for Bama versus South Carolina and, just give a quick, analysis on what I think this game may be this week. Last week, I about was dead on. We beat the doors off of Tennessee. But anyways, guys, this week, Bama versus South Carolina. We're going to South Carolina. Should be a great environment. We back on the road. It's great to still be getting some of these games on the road. I know this game was before the season. It was more hype. A lot of people had a lot of expectations for South Carolina. Lenore Sellers, he was a lot of people's Heisman candidate coming into the season, along with Archman and a lot of these guys. That's the reason I always say, man, until you get on the field, you never know what none of these teams and players will be. You can give all these, you can say they're a 5-star and give all these expectations, but man, a lot of the guys who claim they're experts, man, don't nobody know. We're all just out here talking, having a good time and guessing. But anyways, man, Alabama, earlier this week, they were like a 13.5 point favorite. Last time I seen it was a 12-point spread. So I'm not sure now, but last time I seen it was a 12-point spread. Bama right now is number 4 in the AP poll. And I love that, hey, we're moving back up. But I really, Bama fans probably be with me too. I don't want to be number 1 because I love when we chasing something. A lot of times when Bama was number 1 back in the day, like Nick said, and this is a perfect game that Nick would say is a rat poison game. We've won 4 straight ranked games. Beat Georgia, we beat Vandy, we beat Mizzou, then we beat Tennessee. Now we're playing a South Carolina team that's 3-4. That, like I said, everybody is expecting us to just blow out. Then, like I said, last week they just lost to Oklahoma, but it was 26-7. So this is a team struggling a lot on offense that everybody thinking that we should blow out. Bama, come in this game focused. Still keep the same intensity. And I think they will because I watched Coach DeBoer talk this week. He even said, look, man, all our guys are still locked in. We've learned from our past mistakes of just this year from the first game when Florida State, we went and played Florida State and got beat, got manhandled. And that was, like I said, a lot of that was on us. We've seen now that Florida State wasn't a good team. It was our play. We came in that game unprepared, unfocused, lackadaisical. And like I say, if you come like that, you can lose a game. Because like I said in previous videos, the talent gap is not as far as it used to be. We're still one of the most talented teams, but when it was before the NIL transfer portal, the talent gap used to be a far margin. Now it's a lot closer than what it used to be. But anyways, I'm going to get a couple key factors, then I'm going to get y'all out of here today. South Carolina, like I said, they're 3-4 on the season. Their offense, these are offensive stats that I was digging into that I really thought were interesting. So they're 16th in points in the SEC. So just think about that. That's like I say, bottom in the SEC, 16 in points. They're 127 in the nation in yards per game as far as offense. So this offense has been struggling a lot. Like I said, previous week, 26-7 versus OU. LSU, they lost 20-10. They did beat Kentucky, but we're not impressed with Kentucky. Lost to Mizzou 29-20. That probably was their best loss. When they played Vandy, I think they lost. It was like 38-7 or whatever it was. Vandy manhandled them. So like I said, this team has had a up and down year, way more down as far as their defensive stats. On third down conversions, they're 15th in the SEC. So like I said, this team, if we come out and play our game, we should manhandle this team. In my mind, I'm thinking around 42-17. I'm hoping that the offense come out playing great. We need Ty Simpson. He got 18 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. Let's keep that up. No turnovers. You never want to give another team, field position. Ty did have a fumble. Wasn't a fumble this past game versus Tennessee. But like I said, keep the turnovers down to none, really. We want to keep, and especially, man, like I said, I didn't do, a previous video speaking on the Tennessee game. But I will say this. Man, I love the way this defense is starting to play. Yanzer Pierre, it's guys that's starting to fire off the edge and starting to get home to the quarterback. I think we might have had 4 sacks last week, and we didn't give up no sacks as far as the offensive end. The O-line is starting to gel because if people pay attention, a lot of pieces will get moved around. You got left guard here. You got this guy moving the right tackle. So, and anybody who knows football know an O-line has to play together for a certain amount of time and start to gel and start to figure out each other tendencies. But anyways, like I said, man, I love last week. Daniel Hill, man, we got to get Daniel Hill some more touches. That guy, man, what's that guy about, 6'3", 244? We got to get that guy some more touches. And last week, I don't think Jam Miller was fully healthy from that concussion. But Jam Miller, he's a tough guy. He's definitely a Bama guy. He toughed it out, played. And then he did make plays. Like I said, he wasn't his normal self, but he made some key plays in the game. And like I said, Daniel Hill got to get more touches. He caught a touchdown pass. So, like I said, it's impressive to have a guy that's 6'3", 244, a guy that big that can catch out of the backfield. Like he got a Derrick Henry build. Like I said, I don't know if he'll be Derrick Henry, but like I said, we'll see. I do think he will get more touches. And some I like with I don't remember if it was Kane Womack or which coach said. I think it might have been Ryan Grubb. It was either one of them. They was talking about getting players on the field that had shown splashes. And then they was like, man, look, we're in a player production business. The more production you do, the more reps you get on the field. So I like them practically saying, like, look, just because you came into the season a starter doesn't mean you're a finisher starter. Because like I said, if you're not reaching the level of play that we need you to reach, we'll get another guy in. If he's playing better, you may get the second string. Your playing time may get cut. Like I said, this is a performance-based league. And like I said, I love that. I love the guy Xavier Brown. Was it Xavier Brown? Last week got the pick 6 where every game starting to get turnovers, starting to flip field position, and then not just to getting the interception, going in and putting it in the end zone, getting points. Man, if you're an Alabama fan out there, man, you got to be feeling great. I know we all hated that FSU loss, but we've got that nasty taste out of our mouth, and we've been playing great. Man, and I want to give a shout-out to Coach DeBoer because too many Alabama fans, a lot of us, man, and I know we love Nick. Nick did so much. Like, Nick is a legend, the greatest coach ever, in my opinion, in college football. One of the greatest coaches ever, in my opinion. But anyways, Coach DeBoer, he's doing a great job. People got to understand, he came in behind Nick Saban. How many guys you know that? That's why most of the coaches wouldn't even want that job. Because wait, I got to come in behind Nick Saban, the guy who got 7 championships, 6 at Alabama, the guy that just totally destroyed college football. And Coach DeBoer, like I said, he's came in, beat Kirby Smart 2 times, impressive. First 2 games versus Georgia, he beat them last year. This year, snapped a 33-game win streak. Then, like I said, even after losing to FSU, he didn't lose this team, got this team back on track. And like I said, I like Coach DeBoer because he seems like a real detail-oriented guy. he's a guy that's like, you know, he pays attention to details. He wants he's very consistent. If you listen to him in most, you know, after the games, well, the first of the week when you give the interviews, most of the time when you hear him speak, he's mentioning the same stuff. So you can tell he's real consistent. And like I said, man, I just want to shout out this coaching staff because a lot of the coaching staff has been getting killed. And Bama fans, sometimes we're spoiled. A lot of Bama fans were very spoiled because we've enjoyed so much success. But man, let's stop hating on the coaching staff because, like I said, man, this team is improving, and you wanna when you're moving through the season, you want to keep building. And like Coach DeBoer said, keep stacking and stacking wins and getting better at the same time. This team, they haven't even hit their full stride. Like I said, I think once they get to once they get to probably, especially around that after the LSU, once they get the Army, I think in this week, that's why I said I got the score 42-17. I think this is going to be the week, boom, that the team starts to hit that full stride, that they really start to go off. Like I said, Lenore Sellers, it's an uphill battle because Kane Womack's going to be sending pressure. The only thing, like I said, we know how we struggle with a quarterback that can move around, keep him in the pocket, keep him contained. Like I said, get him on the ground, Lenore Sellers. And I don't think Lenore Sellers is a bad quarterback. I think this team this year, O-line's not protecting him. This team is just not a good team. And like I said, even if you're a great quarterback, we've seen quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. We can name a list of quarterbacks that played on teams, and the teams were successful because, like I said, the team around you not good. But anyways, guys, like I said, I would just come on here because I wanted to get a video out. Like I said, man, I've been all week wanting to put a video out. I was going to put one out yesterday. Man, I had a migraine that was like killing me. So like I said, I had to get some rest and stuff. I've been really pushing myself so hard, you know, working, training. Like I said, just tired. But anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Like I say, I appreciate the love. I catch you next.